Okay. Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the August Honua Scholars Dialogue session. Today, we're doing a Q&A panel with some of our previous proposal session or proposal competition winners. Today, we have Ethan, Abraham, and Koa Cheng, and I will just be asking them some questions about their project and their experiences. So I guess my first question is, or I guess we can just start with introductions. Can say your name, maybe like what school you go to, your high school and college, and then where you're from. Whoever wants to start.
I can start.
Okay.
Aloha, my name is Ethan. I previously attended Kamehameha School's Kapalama, and I'm currently attending the University of Hawaii at Manoa.
Yeah, aloha. My name is Ko Chang. I'm from Honolulu, Hawaii. I attended Kamehameha schools and currently am at Stanford University going into my junior year.
Thank you. Um, the next question is, what are some of your hobbies or interests outside of school?
Outside of school, some of my favorite things to do are play music, play instruments, as well as paddleboarding and bodyboarding.
Yeah, I enjoy to try and get some physical activity. So I like to play basketball, go to the beach, uh fight ball, things like that. Just trying to stay active, I guess.
Oh, maybe going back to the first question, I also should have asked, because I'm also curious what you are studying in university right now.
Right now, I'm studying computer engineering and molecular cell biology.
Yeah, I'm studying computer science and might do a minor in data science. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Um, what what's something about you that people might be surprised to learn?
I think this ties back into what I like doing on my free time. I can play 9 different instruments. Very.
Yeah, maybe something cool is I have like three siblings and I enjoy spending a lot of time with them. I have an older sister, younger sister, and younger brother. So yeah, there's no shortage of things to do when I go home, which is pretty cool.
Um, guess kind of that might be related um to what you just said, Koa. Who or what inspires you most in your work or studies?
Yeah, I would say my friends, family, and people in my community inspire me the most. I guess I got a lot of support growing up, going to Kamehameha. Like there's a lot of you get nurtured to like care for your community and give back to the people who helped you out. So yeah, I guess I'm inspired to want to give back one day as well.
For me, it's definitely similar. Going through Kamehameha, I've definitely had a lot of support from the teachers there who have really supported me and put me on to the science track, which I've grown to love and be very interested in. As well as my family. My parents are very big supporters of what I do, and I'm very fortunate to have them.
Looks like Chisato just joined. Sorry, we just got started, but I'm going through like a list of questions with the previous winners of the proposal competition. Um, I guess we can go back to the first one. Um, if you could introduce yourself, like say your name, where you're from, what undergrad or high school you went to, and what you're like interested in studying, if you have like an area of interest.
Hi, sorry I'm late. I had to
Oh, no.
made me update my Zoom like when I tried to join. Um, my name is Chisato. I went to Iolani. Currently I'm a freshman, or I'm an incoming freshman at the University of Hawaii. And right now I'm interested. I'm interested in studying math and sociology. But I'm still a freshman, so that could totally change. in like a couple years. So yeah, but that is what I'm currently interested in. Yeah.
Did you say where you're from, sorry?
Oh, sorry. I'm from I'm born and raised Honolulu,
Oh,
Hawaii.
that's cool. Thank you. Okay, so um, let's see. I guess the next question, I don't know if we want to go back to the previous question, but I'll just continue. Um, how do you all stay motivated when things get tough?
That's a great question. For me, it's definitely getting to sit down and talk to my mentors and those around me. I found that every time that I get stuck at a certain point, it's very helpful to talk out your ideas. And that way, in being able to share with someone the knowledge that you're learning, it allows you to also fill in the gaps to maybe solve some of the problems you're having.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, piggybacking on what Ethan said, I try to rely on my friends and mentors who might have went through similar situations. And another thing I try to do is I try to be grateful for like the things I do have when things may get tough. Uh, yeah, kind of helps to try and see like the positive side of things.
Um, for me, so the research that I did was about like how inequality and well, it was basically about inequality, and I think especially if you're like thinking about studying in the social sciences, one thing that you remember is that the ultimate goal with the type of research that you do is that hopefully, unfortunately, it often doesn't, but hopefully that it manifests as real government policy, to serve your fellow citizens. And so, what I have to often remind myself is that this work is part of something so much bigger than myself or even my career, and especially in an age where science and research, especially research that evolves around, social and class inequality, is getting defunded. Your work is incredibly important, and again, it's so much bigger than just yourself, and there so many people, especially working in grassroots organizing and such, who are really putting in the work. So at the end of the day, your work really matters in that sense. But yeah.
Cool. Um, yeah. So kind of going more into that about like your work that you do. Um, what is your proposals about that you submitted to this competition?
Yeah, so my proposal was looking to target the amount of asthma cases that we have amongst Native Hawaiians specifically here in Hawaii. We found through the Hawaii's asthmatic plan for 2030 is that across Hawaii, 1 in 10 children have asthma, and a lot of the times, more so that 1 in 5 of those individuals faced with asthma have a severe case of asthma, where the typical medication that they're taking and is commonly prescribed isn't strong enough to counteract their effects of asthma. So my research was looking at utilizing Ilima, which is a native Hawaiian plant and was often used in La'au Lapa'au to assist with these respiratory issues, utilizing Ilima to create different types of concentrations and different methods of administering Ilima to see whether or not it has an effect in reducing uh, and producing different mucus cells within the individual and seeing if that actually affects and benefits to improving their health as a further case to counteract chronic asthma cases.
Yeah, my proposal was about building AI tools, like a chatbot, image generator, things like that for the specifically for like the Hawaiian language and culture. And the rationale was like, um, learning Hawaiian can be pretty difficult if you don't attend like Kamehameha or like Hawaiian immersion schools. So I was thinking it could be cool to maybe expose some other tools that can help with learning Hawaiian.
My study was about, investigating the causal relationship between exclusionary zoning laws and urban inequality. Um, Single family zoning, or exclusionary zoning, I look specifically at single family zoning. So right now in the United States, like 75% of all residential land is zoned for exclusively single family housing. And that number is even higher in Honolulu. So we have like one of the most restrictive zoning policies. And so what I looked at was specifically in order to do the causal analysis, I looked at Minneapolis's 2018 ban on a single family zoning as a natural experiment. And I looked at kind of the 5-year span following that ban on single family zoning to see the effect that it had on social and class inequality. And ultimately, what I found was that within that short 5-year span, there was about a 4% a decrease in the Gini index in Minneapolis. So yeah, that's interesting.
Cool. Yeah, thank you guys. Sounds like really cool projects. Um, Now, I guess I want to know how you came up with those ideas for all your proposals.
I was really interested in, or throughout all my time in doing science research in high school, I focused more on chemical engineering and environmental sciences. So this was a step for me to utilize all of the knowledge that I've learned through my biological classes and work with mentors to see if I could attack something that could definitely help people who in my life uh, have chronic asthma cases. So it was a way of me using my knowledge and trying to give back to them.
Yeah, I came up with my idea. I was because I'm studying computer science and AI at Stanford, and we're learning about like all the recent breakthroughs in AI and all this stuff going on. Um, so I was just like, yeah, I was wondering if I could apply this to wine language, and initially just started as me like fooling around with the tools, and I'm like, oh, maybe this could be something cool to build.
Uh, for me, I was basically radicalized by this book that I read called Suburban Nation by Andre Duaney, and he's like a leader of the new urbanist movement, and he talks a lot about the negative consequences of single family zoning and exclusionary zoning. But so that's kind of what kicked off my a lot of my research within like zoning law and such. But I think my interest in inequality really like happened that year. In the proposal competition, I had just finished reading Capital in the 21st Century by Thomas Piketty, and that really radicalized me about like inequality and class inequality and how it functions. And so that really inspired me to want to do more research around inequality in general.
You, some of you have mentioned your mentors. So um, I guess the next question is, do you have any role models, mentors, or people you look up to? And kind of going further, like who are they specifically, and how have they influenced your research or your proposal?
One of my most favorite mentors is Miss Ishimoto. She has been by my side through a lot of my scientific research journey and has been someone I look up to because she's very good at working with a wide range of individuals across various different disciplines. And that's something that I hope to take from her and be able to utilize in my own endeavors to support others on their scientific journey.
Yeah, for me, I would say most of my role models come from previous students. Um, yeah, like people like Kyle, who also went to Stanford, or just previous students who went through the same situations as me. I think, yeah, I have the most to learn from them because they're um, really close to like they just went through the same experience as me, and they have a lot to offer. Yeah.
My mentor was his name is Dr. Paul Bernstein. He's a retired economist. He used to work at the University of Hawaii's Economic Research Organization. But what's really inspiring about him is that even after he's retired, he's still doing a lot of part-time work and researching carbon pricing. But he also does a lot of community organizing and a lot of work in civic engagement. And so he's in this organization called the Citizens Climate Lobby, and every week he's meeting with our local legislators to talk to them about policy and try to get push for environmental policy to be passed. And I think that's so inspiring that he continues to do that even in his retirement. And he's inspired me to connect my research to our community, and to not forget the fact that, especially if you're doing social science research and policy research, that things like community and politics and justice is very integral to that kind of research, and to stay civically engaged.
Thank you. Seems like you all have really great mentors and people that you've been inspired from. So now taking kind of like a step back from the proposal, what are you thinking of doing next? Do you have like future projects, any future studies or goals?
Working further into the future, I'm really looking at doing some applications with biomedical research, working in both computer engineering, electrical engineering, and molecular cell biology. I've been able to find a niche where I've been able to not only work on prevalent medical issues within the cancer industry, but then also being able to use all of my previous knowledge to build something new that I've been really fortunate to have the opportunity to do. And I'm hoping to continue doing that going forward.
Yeah, for me, I try not to think too far in the future, but I guess I'm currently pursuing my bachelor's, so hopefully I can probably going to do a master's after that, and then yeah, probably want to get into like do some sort of job in the tech industry. But I guess like one of my big long-term goals is to be able to move back to Hawaii, because yeah, there's no place like home. So yeah.
Right now I'm working as a research assistant at the University of Hawaii's Economic Research Organization, and I'm specifically looking into the the permitting database in Maui after the Maui wildfires, because um, basically the issue is that since the wildfires happened, basically the only rebuilding that we've seen happening is with single family housing, and virtually no like multifamily housing, like apartments, duplexes, that kind of housing. And so which is a real shame, because on a tiny island like Maui or like Oahu, you would want to build more vertically rather than horizontally, and it also means that you have less affordable housing being built. So that's definitely something that I want to look more into.
And if you could give one piece of advice to someone starting something new, what would it be?
One piece of advice that I would give to someone starting anew is to keep pushing. The science research can be very difficult, and oftentimes you're working with something new that hasn't been researched before or has been touched on lightly, but not in the same way that you're working on it. And I think that can be very discouraging at times. But to keep pushing, to keep doing the research that you know is important is not only important for you, but important to the world and showing the kind of research that you're developing.
Yeah, I would say yeah, just like Ethan said, um, doing something new can be really hard. Maybe yeah, maybe I would say just you can just like try your best on a first draft or something. Just go for it and not trying to think about it too much. Yeah, I like to mess around. I like to mess around and create things for fun all the time. It doesn't have to be like anything you have to show to other people or something. It can always just be for yourself too.
Yeah, if you're looking to do something new, just remember that, you're probably it's probably not something so new that you're like the first person to have like thought about it. There's definitely, you're standing on the shoulders of giants, and there's probably so many other people who have, done work around it before. And so try to reach out to those people who you think um can teach you about that, and how you can build off of that information. And I noticed Kyle said in the chat, where are other good places to look if you're interested in zoning and how it impacts Hawaii. And actually, Hawaii has its own YIMBY chapter, a Yes in My Backyard chapter, and their whole focus is on like building more affordable housing and making our zoning laws in Hawaii less restrictive. So if you're interested in that kind of work, definitely check out the our local chapter for YIMBY, and I'll send a link in the chat later.
Thank you. And then I only have one more question, and it's specifically for COA. Um, not only did you score high in the competition, but you also received one of the Purple Maya fellowships. How did you continue your project beyond the proposal with Purple Maya?
Yeah, so yeah, I was able to meet with some of the staff, and then we actually got to work on building the project, and doing some more experiments. They gave me some funding to continue the project and like talk to like people in like in the field who are working on similar things. And yeah, that was probably for like a good 6 months. I was working on the project a good amount. And then recently I haven't been able to work on it too much, but I think it's being continued to being worked on to help with some of their other projects they're working on. Um, it's specifically now it's being used for like the traditional Hawaiian language, like before the kahako and like the Okina was introduced. So it's pretty cool to see like the project be turned into like not only for like learners or people trying to learn the language, but also it's hopefully going to be able to be used to like translate some very old Hawaiian documents that was using like the traditional Hawaiian language. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's all the questions I had. We have a few audience members, so I guess I'll open it up to them for more questions for a little bit, if anyone has any. Kyle has a question. Um, what was the most difficult part of doing the proposal?
I would say for me, the most difficult part about doing my proposal was reaching out and getting to work with some professionals who are currently doing La'o, learning from them their own traditional practices, but then how to be able to translate between utilizing Native Hawaiian and incorporating that with Western practices in medicine.
Yeah, for me, the most difficult part was probably doing the like the presentation. There was kind of a lot of people at the symposium, so yeah, it was like probably my first experience speaking in front of that many people, so that was probably the most difficult part.
Yeah, I agree with the presenting part. I think there was like a 5 minute like limit or something, and I always struggle with like keeping it under the time. So yeah, that was a big struggle. I think I ended up going overtime, so whoops. Yeah, don't do that.
And Courtney has a question. How did you find out about the proposal competition and did you work with a mentor or teacher?
I found out about the proposal competition a couple of years ago from my honor science research teacher. I've been fortunate to be going to the symposiums for Cornell Scholars for the past couple of years. And for this past presentation and proposal, I did not work with a mentor or teacher.
Yeah, I think I found out about the proposal through Kyle, and I guess I didn't really work with a mentor or teacher, but I talked to a lot of classmates about the proposal and what they thought about it.
I was at the Hawaii State Science Fair and they were passing out flyers about it, and I was like, yeah, that sounds awesome. So that's how I found out about it.
There are any other questions? Um, please feel free to ask. Otherwise, I guess we can end the panel. Um, and I'll just stick around if anyone wants to talk. But yeah, thank you so much to Ethan, Koa, and Chisato for coming today and answering all these questions. It's really cool to hear about your interests and your proposal. So thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we just leave now?
You can leave if you want to. Yeah.
Oh, all right. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank
Appreciate
you.
it.